Okay, Judy, now we're going to add the 16th notes to this Land Is Your Land. So what I want you to do is sort of isolate it first, and I want you to work on the G chord, and what you would do is play the low note G, and then you're going to roll through the 16th notes, index, middle, ring finger on those upper strings. So where you were pinching it, like that, I want you to go 1, E, and okay? 1, E, and that's all you got to do with that. I'd work on it 1, E, and try and get in time. Okay? 1, E, and then I'd want you to do it on the D chord. Grab the root D. Okay, now you could, as an exercise, when you're doing this chord, I should back up. You could, as an exercise, play through each one with the low G and then the D too. So you're going. It's a good practice, but in the song, we're only going to do the first half of it. So for this, what I want you to work on and be good at is playing with the low note G and playing the thumb, E, and like that. So the thumb is on the low string G for this exercise. And just get good at playing that in time. Then on the D chord, you grab the D string. It's basically the same thing. 1 E, and on the A, you do the same thing. 1 E, and 1 E, and then you have a D again, G again, D again. So you will have run through all those songs. That's just to get the concept of it. Okay, so that when the G comes up and you're playing it in 16th notes, you're thinking. When the D comes, you're thinking. And when the A comes, you do this. Okay? So then let's put it into the song. I want you to be able to come out of this G and go into the other thing we were working on before. So you're going to go E, and that's exactly like you were doing before. You'll see it on paper, but you're separating the first 2 eighth notes of that G measure. So you have, right, that's the beginning of the song. When you play the first 2 eighth notes of the G, before you were going, but now we're separating that into 2 16th notes. We're separating that into 16th notes. Okay? From the beginning, we're going, and then we got to go into the next 2 eighth notes. Okay, so all together it would be 1 E, and 2, and like that. 1 E, and 2, and. So you want to work on that now. 1 E, and 2, and. Okay? And then, of course, you get the next part, which is the D chord. You can see Carrie in the background. You have the D chord, 1 E, and okay, so we're coming from the pickup notes before that. 1 E, and 2, and. Okay, that's on the D chord. 1 E, and 2, and. Okay, next one goes into the A chord. Again, we're coming from the last couple of notes on the top of the first string. A chord is 1 E, and 2, and. So you're just doing that for everything now. You're replacing those 2 eighth notes, first 2 eighth notes of each measure, and making it 16th notes. And then what makes that tricky on the A chord, though, is you got to think about this. And then A7. Okay, so that all stays the same. 1 E, and 2, and. Okay, so I would practice that measure. Once you get the hang of it going, 1 E, and 2, and. Just remember you got that. It's a little gibby. That A measure may be tricky. You might want to work on that together on Thursday. But essentially all you're really doing is adding 16th notes to the very first beat of each measure. Because then we come up with the D chord. This is coming out of the measure, A measure. 1 E, and 2, and, right? Let's do that again. 1 E, and 2, and D7, right? So you want to work on that the same way. Okay, that's another one I think is going to be a little tricky just because it's going to feel funny. Then we keep going. Third line, 1 E, and 2, and, right? Just the same as before, but just adding 16th notes. Coming again from the end of the second line. 1 E, and 2, and. You can keep going after that. Again, last time actually, coming out of the end of the second line, G, right? And then we keep going this time. We're going to actually grab this next one, going into the D chord. 1 E and a 2 and. Okay, so in this one, because it's one long measure, we have a 1 E and a 2 and 3 E and a 4 and. So that's kind of a cool one to do. Let's add that again from the pickup notes before it. D chord, 3 E and a. Alright, just work on that over and over and over again. And then the fun part. This does not change. This is not 16th notes. Keep that exactly the way it is, okay? I think that should just be fun the way it is. I don't want to mess with that with 16th notes, okay? So out of the D chord before, you'd go. Pretty cool. I like that. Last measure is the D measure. I want you to go 1 E and a 2 and 3. Let it ring. So you're going to go 1 E and a 2 and. Okay, so all we're doing is adding 16th notes for the first beat of every measure. Okay, what I want you to work on, let's back it up a little bit. What I want you to work on first is just playing 16th notes for each one of these chords on the G chord. 1 E and a. That's it. 1 E and a. On the D chord. 1 E and a. On the A chord. 1 E and a. Just get the hang of it. You're separating the notes, okay? If you want to keep going over and over again, just to feel good about it, I think that would be great. I said for a moment there you could actually go back and forth with the root fifth. I actually think that might be confusing. So if you're going to work on this and just try and get it in time, just play with it down the one root position. You're playing the root and then finishing it off as 16th notes. The root G, right? 1 E and just make it feel good and think about it in time. In the D chord, root, and that's it. Same with the A chord, root A. And then I think if you get those chords under control, it'll be fine. Then put it into, in fact, I would put it into just the first line. Just get that first line feeling good, and the rest of it will kind of work itself out. If you can fit the 16th notes in that first line, you'll be fine. So you'd be going, I'd start off with the G, 1 E and a first, just make that feel good. So you're going from the beginning of the first full measure. 1 E and a 2 and. I love that. Just do it over and over again. 1 E and a 2. Sorry. 1 E and a 2. What am I doing? 1 E and a 2 and. Just get that feeling good. 1 E and a 2 and. Okay? And then add the part before it. 1 E and a 2 and. Take it nice and slow so you can keep that 16th note time. And 4 and 1 E and a 2 and. I'll do that over and over and over again. And 2 and 1 E and a 2 and. Sorry, I should have been 4 and. And 4 and 1 E and a 2 and. And then the next part is going to be going into the D chord. So I start the D chord the exact same way from the beginning of the D measure. 1 E and a 2. Sorry, 1 E and a 2 and. Get that feeling good. 1 E and a 2 and. Over and over again. 1 E and a 2 and. Now add the pickup notes before it. Get that feeling good. And then you'd want to keep going into the A measure. That's a tricky one though, so I would maybe take my time on that one. I'm going to talk to you on Thursday. I think the main goal needs to be get used to the 16th notes and then try and put it into the first line of the song and just get that feeling good. Think about the 16th notes, how they work in with the timing and the rhythms that you're working on up to this point. Okay? I'll have it to you in a PDF too, so that should help a little bit. But let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them over text, phone, email, anything. Okay? But no matter what, I'll see you on Thursday.